I kept meeting Chloe around Singapore. People always ask where to find the best food in Singapore. Honestly? Ask 10 Singaporeans and you'll get 12 different answers. My name is Paul. I'm an architect who spends weekdays designing buildings and weekends designing my eating schedule. Some people collect stamps. Others collect sneakers. I collected hawker recommendations. One Saturday morning, I joined the queue at Sungei Road Laksa. The queue was already 20 people long. In front of me stood a young woman wearing a baseball cap. She turned around. "Oh, you're here too?" I blinked. "I'm sorry? Weren't you at Maxwell Food Center last weekend?" I stared. "You were the one who got the last plate of Tian Tian chicken rice before they sold out." She laughed. "So you remember." I was still recovering. She held out her hand. "I'm Chloe." "Paul." The line moved. She smiled. "So, good taste?" "I'd like to think so." The following weekend I decided to visit Old Airport Road Food Center. I finally reached the famous Nam Sing Hokkien Mee stall. Guess who was already collecting her order? Chloe. She looked over. "You've got to stop following me." I laughed. I was about to say exactly the same thing. She folded her arms dramatically. "Confess. You've hacked my food list. I don't even know your surname." "You don't need my surname. You only need my Google Maps history." We both laughed. Lunchtime crowds at Old Airport Road were impossible. Every table was occupied. We both stood holding trays. Searching, waiting, hoping. Finally, an elderly couple stood up. Only 2 seats remained. Chloe looked at me. "I suppose we share? I promise not to steal your Hokkien Mee." She smiled. "I'll believe it when I finish eating." Halfway through lunch she pointed at my drink. "You ordered barley? It's underrated." She nodded. "Finally. A sensible opinion." Food philosophies. It turned out we had very different approaches to eating. I researched every destination. She followed instinct. I saw a queue. So I joined. You don't know what they're selling? That's part of the adventure. I nearly dropped my spoon. You queue without knowing? Yes. What if it's something you don't eat? She shrugged. I'll probably discover something new. I laughed. You are the bravest foodie I've ever met. I hope you enjoyed this story so far. It was created by Pearl. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes in second chances. Here, we're honored to bring you stories of hope, love, and the resilience of the human spirit. The Michelin debate. The following month we planned our first official food trip together. Maxwell Food Center. Then Chinatown Complex. Finally, a reservation at Burnt Ends. As we enjoyed dinner, Chloe smiled. "You know what's funny?" "What?" "This meal costs almost 20 times more than breakfast." I nodded. "So, which was better?" She thought for a moment. "The company." I smiled. "Good answer." "No. Honest answer." Well, our food adventures grew longer. Breakfast at Yakuan Kaya Toast. Lunch at Beach Road Scissors Cut Curry Rice. Dessert in Katong. Coffee in Tiong Bahru. Dinner at Candlenut. One day Chloe looked at me. "Do you realize? We've traveled almost the entire island for food?" I checked my cycling app. 47 kilometers. She laughed. "You tracked the distance?" "I track everything." She smiled. "I just track desserts. The hawker uncles know." Eventually, the hawkers started recognizing us. At Hon Lim Market, the noodle uncle smiled. "The usual?" Chloe looked surprised. "We have a usual?" The uncle nodded. "You always order one extra bowl. Because you two can't decide." She laughed. "He's right." Another hawker at East Coast Lagoon Food Village called out. "The boyfriend's here." We both answered immediately. "We're not together." The hawker grinned knowingly. "Not yet." The entire queue laughed. The food blog. One rainy afternoon Chloe had an idea. We should write about all this. A food blog? Not reviews. Stories. The people. The conversations. The memories. We called it One More Bite. Soon readers weren't just following us for recommendations. They loved the conversations. The jokes. The accidental adventures. One comment made us laugh. I came looking for laksa recommendations and somehow became emotionally invested in Paul and Chloe. Chapter 9, The Best Meal. Nearly a year passed. One evening we returned to Lau Pa Sat for satay. The same table. The same smoky aroma. The same laughter. Chloe looked thoughtful. Can I ask you something? Of course. When did this stop being about food? I smiled. I think it happened somewhere between the third bowl of noodles and your fifth attempt to convince me dessert counts as a main course. She laughed. It absolutely does. I know. I've accepted defeat. A month later, Chloe thought we were meeting for another food adventure. Instead, I had invited both our families and our closest friends to a private room at Odette. As she entered, she stopped. My parents? Your parents? The satay uncle? I smiled. He insisted. The satay uncle waved proudly. I catered nothing. I just wanted to see. Everyone laughed. After dinner, I stood. The first time we met, we were both standing in line for laksa. The second time, it was Hokkien Mee. Then chicken rice. Then satay. Then kaya toast. And somewhere between all those famous food spots, I discovered that my favorite part of every meal wasn't what was on the table. It was who was sitting across from me. The room became quiet. I reached into my jacket. I've traveled all over Singapore searching for the perfect meal. I finally realized. I found it the day I met you. I knelt on one knee. Chloe, will you spend the rest of your life exploring Singapore with me? From hawker centers to fine dining. Sharing one dessert. Arguing over where the best chicken rice is. And always saving me the last bite? Chloe laughed through happy tears. I was going to save you the last bite. But now you get forever. She nodded. Yes. Absolutely yes. The room erupted into applause. The satay uncle shouted from the back. Next anniversary, my stall. Everyone burst into laughter. Epilogue. Years later, Paul and Chloe still spent almost every weekend discovering another corner of Singapore through its food. Sometimes it was a humble plate of char kway teow at a neighborhood hawker center. Sometimes it was an elegant tasting menu prepared by award-winning chefs. It never mattered whether the place was famous, hidden, expensive, or simple. Because they had learned that Singapore's greatest food wasn't only found on a plate. It was found in the stories behind every stall. The people who prepared each meal. And the person who sat across the table, laughing at the same silly jokes. Whenever someone asked Paul where to find the best food in Singapore, he would smile and answer. I honestly don't know. Because somehow, every place becomes my favorite. As long as Chloe is there to share the table. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. It was created by Pearl. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes in second chances. Here, we're honored to bring you stories of hope, love, and the resilience of the human spirit.